This is my audience. Have you ever wondered the process your prescription goes through before it is actually released to you? According to Joshua Murdoch, a pharmacist and graduate at the Pharmacy of Doctor program, quote, "To understand why there may be a delay at your pharmacy, it is important to understand the pharmacy's general workflow," end quote. I am a pharmacy technician at our local Hy-Vee pharmacy, and there's a large process that the prescriptions go through before they are released to you, and it might benefit you to know. Today I'm going to talk about the process, the different jobs, and the different drugs. The first process behind any prescription is having it prescribed and sent over by a doctor. The doctor can either verbally prescribe it or they can electronically prescribe it. They can either call or have the patient come in with a paper saying that they need the script filled. After it's sent over by the doctor, the process begins. It is then put into our inbound or reception, or it's put into our central. And our central orders come from a warehouse where if we don't have enough to fill the drug on the shelves, then we'll send it to our central, and then it'll come in from the warehouse. From inbound and reception, everything is checked over and then it's sent to the next process. As you'll realize, there are several checkpoints when filling a prescription. The next one is data entry. Data entry is where everything is double checked and written. Here, the prescription will be written either by days, by dosage. They'll write that it's taken by mouth or whatever you may be taking it by. The prescriber and the billing is also checked, or an insurance card might be put in data. Basically, everything is looked over. We make sure that we have the right name, the right address, date of birth. Everything is just double checked in data entry. Quote, "You may have two patients with the exact same name," end quote, according to an article in study.com by Sunday Moulton, who has a PhD in anthropology. Things like having the exact same name, this is where we would find that in data entry, and we would correct it and make sure that it's correct. After everything is double checked and everything is all good, we send it to the next process. The next process is pre-verification, or we like to call it pre-ver. Pre-verification is where everything is triple checked. This is like a therapeutic check. We just make sure that everything in data is good and that everyone is doing their job how they're supposed to be. So if there was a mistake that someone made in data, such as like the wrong dosage, the wrong quantity, or the wrong days, just anything like that, we would find this in pre-verification. And if there was a problem, either the pharmacist would fix it or they'd send it back to data entry so that the person who wrote the script could fix it. So things like that are double checked. And after pre-verification, it then goes to our product dispensing step. This is where the actual scripts are counted, and this is the jobs for pharmacy technicians. So we print the label off. After the pharmacist sends it through, it'll go to product dispensing, and then it'll come into our computer, and we will print the labels. We rip off the labels, and then we scan the label individually. Things like the availability that we have on our shelves will come up, just double checking everything. If we don't have anything available, then we'll decline it. So in every drug, there's an NDC number, which is just our way of telling what drug is what. And every drug has a different NDC number. This is how we check to make sure that the drugs are right. So if we don't have enough available of a specific NDC number, we'll decline it, and then we'll reselect the dispensed product, which means that we'll select a different NDC number. So if we don't have enough of one NDC number, we make sure that we have enough of another, and then we choose that one. If there's none for any of those type of drugs, then we'll decline it completely, and we'll send it to either FOA, which is where our pharmacists ship in an order of just drugs, or we'll send it to our central, which comes from the warehouse. If there is enough, we will go find it on the shelves, and all the regular drugs are alphabetical order, so we just go find it. However, there are two special kinds of drugs. We have the C2 drugs and we have the hazardous drugs. So the C2 drugs are in a special cabinet and they're all controlled substance drugs. This means that they have to be double checked, they have to specifically be prescribed by your doctor, and they have to be double checked with the doctor that you are supposed to be taking that medicine. With our hazardous drugs, they all have red stickers on them that say hazardous drugs, and they have to be counted in a specific area that can only be exposed to hazardous drugs. Nowhere else in the pharmacy can. These are like high exposure drugs. They're used to treat like high sicknesses and all that stuff. We have 3 groups of different hazardous drugs. We have a green, yellow, and red group, and these are just the different levels of intensity on all the different hazardous drugs. So with C2s and regular drugs, we can either count them manually or we can choose to count them electronically, where we just dump them in something and it counts them. So with the hazardous drugs, they have to all be counted manually. The C2s and hazardous always have to be double counted as well. So then we will take them and dump them into the correct size vial, and then we'll top it off with a lid, and then we'll stick the label on it, and then we stick it in the correct colored tote. There's 4 different colored totes. So there's blue, which is just pick up, which means they'll pick it up however they want. We just bag it and put it on the shelves. There's also green totes, and the green totes are for delivery. So we'll put it over on the delivery shelf and our delivery person will take it out. There's yellow totes, and these are the C2 totes. So when you have a C2 drug, you'll bring it over to the counter and you'll scan every drug through to make sure that it's correct. And once you count the C2 drugs, you'll put them in a vial and you'll put them in this yellow tote. However, the only difference with the C2s is the actual C2 bottle that you are using goes in the tote with the drug. So you'll send everything forward and then you'll scan your RDEC. And your RDEC is just your name with a barcode on it. And when you scan that through, it just basically says that you filled the prescription. So if there's a problem, they'll send it back to you or ask you about it. So then you scan it through and then you send it forward. After this, it's no longer in the pharmacy technician's hands. It's only in the pharmacist's hands. So then it goes into our verification step. And this is the last step of filling a prescription. Verification is where everything is quadruple checked. The prescriber, just everything that I've named is quadruple checked. And if there's any problems, we'll either fix it there and then send it through. So here our pharmacy scans their RDAC and a paper prints off on the printer, and this has the price of the drugs, the insurance that it was ran through, and all the different ways to take it, what you can't, the foods that you can take with it, everything. It has all the details on the paper. It's then put in the tote with the prescriptions and then put on the counter. From here, anyone who's available will bag up the prescriptions and then put them away in alphabetical order so they're easy to find and locate. So overall, these steps and strategies are put into place so we can quote, have a process that is safe and legal for both the customer and the pharmacy, end quote. According to Michael Chamberlain, who is a consultant in education in 2019. Knowing these steps and strategies for filling a prescription can benefit you in several ways, and they might help you understand why there's a delay or you can't get a prescription. Overall, these are very helpful to know, and next time you're in a pharmacy and it's taking a while to fill your prescription, now you might have a better understanding on why.